Welcome into episode 2 of Rangers Deep in the Heart, where I take you inside the Rangers organization through the players, their families, and the staff behind it. This show is presented by Justin, the official boot of the Texas Rangers. I'm your host, Hannah Wing. Let's dive into Hannah's headlines and start off with Jon Gray's dominant outing Tuesday night against Washington. The righty went 8 innings, didn't walk a single batter, only gave up 1 run, and struck out 3. Now, Gray's starts have been a little bit all over the map when it comes to going deep into games this season. That range previously to Tuesday night was 1 2/3 to 6, and now he had it done in 8. Now, this was also Gray's longest start since last June when he went a complete game against St. Louis. Jon's velocity was up Tuesday night, and Rangers general manager Chris Jung really credited both his command and his pitchability. He used his slider more than his fastball, and Gray told the Rangers media Tuesday night that when he uses his slider and things are locked in, everything else just falls right into place. And even Rangers catcher Jonah Heim said, "Man, that did not suck." Thrilled for Gray and that successful outing. Again, his velocity was up. And I just love the way that Jon Gray is on the mound. He brings that intensity. He brings that excitement. You never really know what's going to happen. And you have White Zombie blasting. So again, it's a very intense environment. But thrilled for Jon Gray and his outing Tuesday night against Washington. And Gray actually has one of my favorite player contrasts. On the mound, super intense, White Zombie. But in the Rangers clubhouse, whenever I chat with him, we always seem to talk about his little pet Yorkies back home. He and his wife Jacqueline have several different pets. They have cats, they have dogs. Jon even told me this spring that he would love to have a pet monkey if he was able to. But I just love how much the Gray family truly embraces animals. When Jon was playing for Colorado prior to Texas, they actually had a family of squirrels living outside of their home in the Denver area. And 2 seasons ago, when the Rangers were playing in Denver, they actually went back to their home there and visited that squirrel family. So love the Grays. They're so incredible. Can't wait to have them on the podcast later this season. We'll have a great conversation around their love for animals and all the work that they do in the community, both in DFW and beyond. They are so charitable and truly just do so much for others, which is incredible. Now let's talk about 2023 first-round draft pick. Outfielder Wyatt Langford finally got his first big league home run, and trust me, y'all, it was a memorable one. Langford flew through the minor leagues of the Rangers organization in just 44 games, the fastest by a Rangers player in franchise history, and exactly 1/2 of those hits in the minor leagues were extra base hits. Heading into this season in spring training, and Langford's very first spring training, he hit 6 bombs over 21 games, so it was only a matter of time when this would really happen for him. Rangers Nation was really waiting for this big moment for Wyatt's career, and it only took just about 29 games to actually get it done. So the wait was longer than probably Rangers fans would have wanted, and I'm sure Wyatt wanted as well, but so thrilled that he got that job done, and in inside the park fashion. Let's go back to that game last Sunday. Wyatt was up to bat. He lined out to right. Everyone thought it was going over the fence. Rangers fans were on the edge of their seats, and then it bounced off the right center wall. I thought he for sure had a triple. He was booking it around the bases. And then everyone saw Tony Beasley wave him home at third base. And we thought, by golly, he has done it. And we all know that Langford has some wheels. From home to home, it took Wyatt 15.18 seconds to get that inside the park home run done. And he also has the 11th fastest sprint speed in all of baseball. So if anyone can do it, it's Wyatt Langford. Now, Wyatt and Josh Smith actually have a very special bond now because in 2022, Josh Smith's first big league home run was actually an inside the park home run as well. So the two of them make up the 5 total Texas Rangers that have an inside the park home run as their very first in the bigs. I also sit down later in the show with third baseman Josh Jung, who is best friends with Wyatt Langford, and they talk about his reaction. Jung really went in on how, from a mentality standpoint, it's important to really get that first big league home run, and then from there, everything else really falls into place. So we have an interesting conversation about that coming up in just a few minutes. Finally, platinum-selling country music star Cody Johnson is coming to Globe Life Field on November 9th, and believe it or not, Wyatt Langford actually caught his first pitch. Cody Johnson again will be here on November 9th for his Leather Tour. I caught up with him on a recent stop by Globe Life Field. Here's what he had to say. You grew up playing baseball. You played through high school. We'll talk about that in a second. But now you are on the big league stage, which was a dream of yours ever since you were a little boy. It's in a different way this time around. But what excites you the most about performing in a ballpark like Globe Life Field?
Well, it's the same thing as, being the rodeo kid, getting to go perform something at the NFR. That's really, or the American Rodeo right here in Globe Life. That meant a lot to me. And it was funny. You think about God's plan a little bit. I wanted to be the rodeo cowboy. Now all the rodeo cowboys want to be the country music singer, and everything comes full circle. So for that kid that wanted to be a baseball player, now I'm getting to play in the baseball field. I'm not making near as much money as them, but it's still cool.
What is your favorite ballpark?
I would have to say, after visiting it, Fenway.
Fenway, that's a great answer. What is your favorite ballpark food item?
Oh, hot dog, period.
Hot dog. What do you put on your hot dog?
Anything they have there. I think that's the only
Really?
way. If it's on the buffet, put it on the hot dog. That's the ballpark
Just
experience.
load it up.
Yes.
If you were playing right now in Major League Baseball, what position do you think you would play?
Man, I was always a big fan of shortstop. You get a lot of action, you get to move around, and for me, having kind of a short attention span, I always wanted to be bouncing around on the field. You got a chance to cover third, you got a chance to cover second, turn a lot more double plays than anybody else. I really liked playing first base just because you were the glue. Like, doesn't matter whether the ball was going to hit the ground here, you had to jump for it. You're the guy who had to clean it up at the very end. So.
Well, finally, if you were a current MLB player and you had to pick one of your own songs as your walk-up, which song would you pick?
Ooh, Welcome to the Show.
That's a good one. I love that. Debut and throughout the rest of your career. I think that's a perfect song.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, Cody, thank you so much for the time. One more thing about your show. Why should fans come out to Globe Life Field on November 9th?
Well, there's going to be a little bit more intensity. Just because we're in Texas and I'm a Texas guy, John Party's going to be opening. We'll have 2 other openers that we're going to announce at a later date. There's probably going to be an after party. I've already been talking to some friends of mine in the music business that might fly down and do a special cameo performance with me. And it's going to be electric. I mean, it's our job to come into Texas and say, hey, this is where we're from and we're going to own this state.
Tickets are sold out for the concert, but standing room only is still available. So fans, head over to globelifefield.com/Cody Johnson to snag your Kojo tickets and get more information. On the other side of break, I sit down with third baseman Josh Jung. We talk about faith, Fortnite, card collecting, and how he's really doing after that wrist injury. Don't go anywhere. Justin is proud to serve as both the official boot of the Texas Rangers and the presenting partner of the Rangers Deep in the Heart podcast. Join the winning team and embrace the spirit of Texas by stepping into a new pair of Justin boots today. Crafted for fans who demand nothing but the best, Justin boots are the perfect blend of style and comfort. Walk like a champion and shop now at justinboots.com. Justin, standard of the West since 1879. Welcome back into the show. Joining me now is Rangers third baseman and 2023 All-Star, Josh Jung. Josh, appreciate the time. On April 1st, you fractured your wrist swinging on a pitch. What will your rehab look like for the next 4 to 6 weeks?
Well, thanks for having me. Golly, what does it look like? Right now, we're kind of in a holding pattern, just trying to let that bone heal. I can't really do a whole bunch. We'll do some soft tissue work. We'll do slight range of motion, and then I got to keep my body going. I got to do something because that's my competitiveness right there. I got to do something. So it's just a bunch of body weight stuff, walking on the treadmill. Like, I'm not allowed to run yet because of the jarring, I guess, when you make contact with the ground. So it's just a bunch of body weight stuff. And then we're slowly starting to get my left arm back to lifting weights again. So we got some challenging things coming for me, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not really challenging. No baseball stuff yet, though.
But Josh, you had an electric start to the season. You were batting .412, 2 homers, and 6 RBIs. Throughout your rehab process, once you get to that point, what will be your number one point of emphasis to maintain that offensive power?
Ooh. For one, it will be not trying to chase that. Because anytime you have an injury, you have new hardware in your body. Your body's going to be feeling different than it did before. So it's like, don't try to chase something that you were doing. Just figure out who you are right now. And that's where the rehab games, all the live at-bats that I'll get, that's where all that's going to come into play. And I'm hoping, since this was like kind of my forearm, that doesn't really affect too much. But you never know what's going to happen with that. And so for me, it'll be not chasing all that stuff. Just like, hey, that was amazing. It's great. It's awesome to watch highlights of myself and psych yourself up. But it's like, okay, we're going to have an injury. It's going to be 6 to 8 weeks. Like, we just got to figure out where I'm at right now. And then when it comes to approach, mentally, that's all going to try to stay the same. It's just going to be the physical part that we got to figure out. And once we do, hopefully we can keep that going. But to just come back and help the club and help impact and win games is all I really care about.
You prepared a statement days after your surgery to the Rangers media, and a lot of that was inspired by the late Kobe Bryant. What about his Achilles injury in 2013 resonated so much with you?
So I was actually just scrolling through Instagram the day I was traveling to Arizona to get my consultation, and then ended up being the day I had surgery. And it was like him in an interview with somebody, and they brought up that like little Facebook post that he had. And I had never heard it before. And so like I'm listening and I'm hearing these words and I'm like, wow, that really resonates with me right now. And so I went and actually looked it up, and then just kind of was like, man, this is exactly how I feel. And knowing media is going to ask you all the questions, when I first stepped back in the clubhouse, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to prepare a statement literally based off of what he said. And a lot of the words were his. I changed a couple things because I felt like it articulated exactly the way I was feeling in that moment. 4 years, 4 surgeries, feels like you're just getting all the bad luck going your way. Like you're due for some good luck, but you're just in another kind of downward spiral because it's like, man, injury number 4. Am I ever going to catch a break? XYZ. And so I felt like it explained that perfectly, and that's why I kind of addressed the media with that message.
Something you said in that statement was, what lessons do I have left to learn? But Josh, what has been the most important lesson you've learned about yourself over the last month?
That I was not a patient person. I got to be patient. I think I've been learning that one for 4 years. Maybe that's why I keep going through this stuff. But yeah, mainly that. And then when it comes to just my faith in general, just fully relying on Jesus and putting it in God's hands, truly. I feel like there's a lot of times where I just want to grab it and go. And it's like, no, that's not true faith. That's not exactly what it is. It's not his plan. That's what I want. And just because I want it doesn't mean I get to go and grab it. So I got to be patient, and it's all in his timing. So that's another lesson that I've been trying to learn.
You've been very vocal about both your frustration about this injury, but of course your faith as well. So how truly have you leaned on your faith during this difficult time?
Wake up and read the Bible, truly. And also, too, it's a perspective thing. Like, I wake up, I do my little daily devos, I read, I get in the Word, have some pastors back home that I talk about just some of the passages with, usually about once a week. But really, the perspective comes in. Like, I'll sit down, I'll read a passage. I've been going through Colossians, and literally just take a step back and just let my mind like kind of sink in. And then it's like, man, there's so much turmoil and stuff going on in the world. A broken wrist playing a kid's game really doesn't mean a whole lot. So what am I going to sit here and complain about? And that's the perspective I'm trying to have. There's going to be days where it just like really sucks. Like when the team goes on the road and I'm back here just doing rehab and I sit at home and watch the game, it's like, man, I really wish I could be in that dugout helping the guys. But that's also so micro when it comes to like real world problems that it's like, man, what are you doing? Just remember your perspective here, and remember that you are going to come out of this.
How do you quickly check yourself and say, hey, Josh, like, snap out of it. You're going to be okay. Like, you just have a few more weeks of rehab.
Right. I mean, the biggest thing is, like, allow myself to feel that, truly. Kind of analyze where it's coming from, and then be like, dude, like, you're going to be just fine. You've done this 3 times before, and you've come out of all 3 of them on the better side. So it's just turn that perspective to, okay, what can I get better at? What can I dive into here to really, make myself better when I come back on the field? And it's like, okay, defensively, how can I stay in good defensive shape? So I go out there and I take my little ground balls on my knees with rags every day. And even though it's legitimately 5 minutes, it's like just the intentionality of going out there and doing it and being intentional with my work is hopefully going to carry me on when I get back.
Faith appears to be such an important theme within the Rangers clubhouse. You've been so vocal about your faith, as has Evan Carter, Travis Jankowski, countless guys on the team, and you and Wyatt Langford were actually reading Disciplines of a Godly Man this spring training. Why is it important to you and the Rangers clubhouse to bond over your faith together?
Well, just having that community is a big thing in general, because, we're all going through the same thing on a daily basis. We might all have different roles, but we're all in this together, and to be able to have that community and to just be able to talk about it together truly and get other people's perspectives on things is awesome. Me, Bradford, and Evo were in the little wet sauna the other day, and we're talking about it. So, I mean, it's just being able to have those conversations in the clubhouse and being able to have the community in the clubhouse. And it's not just players, it's staff, it's, kind of everybody coming together with it too. I mean, in general, that's just amazing because you don't really see that a whole lot. So having that community is awesome. But then you not only have the community, you see people live it out, and that's the big thing. We don't have anybody on the team that's hypocritical when it comes to that, and I think that's the big probably struggle with Christianity is the hypocrites out there. And you just see these guys live it literally right in front of you all the time, and it's amazing. I mean, you see Evan, you see Wyatt, you see Evo, you see all these guys live out their walk, Nate, and it's authentic and real, and it just helps everybody.
You and Wyatt Langford have bonded over your faith, but how has your friendship evolved off the field?
I mean, he's awesome. He's quiet until you get to know him. He's smart. He's just one of the guys. Finally got him to get an Xbox so he can play Fortnite with me. So finally broke that wall down, which is amazing. So now the friendship just goes to another level, right?
Oh,
now we
absolutely.
play video games together. So that was really funny because we went over to Jankowski's house yesterday on the off day, and we were in the pool and whatnot. And then he goes, "Oh, by the way, I got an Xbox." And I was like, "Yeah, you did. Now it's time to go." Because he was giving me crap about it all spring training about how I'd go in there and yell and all that kind of stuff and how I didn't play video games. And here we are 2 months later, and he's got one. So
He finally got on board.
he got on board with it. But, I mean, we've just been able to have good dialogue, truly. He can lean on me for stuff. I know he leans on Janko for a lot of stuff, too. But, yeah, he's awesome. I mean, he jumped right in. He's part of the guys. And, I mean, the fact that he's quiet is what kind of scares you because you're like, oh, you don't really know what he's thinking all the time. But he opens up. He's super sweet, super nice. He cares, like, truly. Like, he asks about you. He asks about how you're doing in your personal life, X, Y, Z, and he's a true best friend.
On April 28th, Wyatt hit his very first Major League home run that happened to be an inside the Parker. As his best friend, what was your reaction when you saw him rounding third?
Don't fall.
Fair.
But no, I was just like, no way this is about to happen. That's actually pretty cool because he's been not aiming for it, but it's like, even when I came up, it's like there's a monkey on your back until you actually hit that first one. And I just happened to do it my first at bat, but you feel it. It's a thing. And so for him, especially the spring training he had where he just killed it, you know that there's that monkey on his back. And even though it's probably unsaid, it doesn't have to be said because you just know. You put a little pressure on yourself to do it, and that's where you start kind of playing that tug-of-war game in your mind. But for him to get that monkey off his back, I hope it just frees him up now and he can just go play, and then we'll probably see 30 homers here soon. But yeah, in that moment I was just so happy for him because that weight as soon as he slid into home and stood up was just lifted off his shoulders, and he's like, oh, I can breathe. And it was awesome, super cool moment. He gets the ball, all that kind of stuff. It was truly amazing.
What was your conversation like with Wyatt after that happened?
So the first time I saw him was after the game, because I just hang out and do a bunch of rehab stuff during the game in the training room. But there were no words. I just threw my arms up in the air and gave a big hug, and that was just like our little embrace. And then him and Davis ended up getting the beer shower, so that was pretty cool.
What a full circle moment for you with third baseman Davis Wenzel. You're both co-players of the year for the Big 12. What are the odds of that happening, that now you share a big league clubhouse together?
I'm probably going to say 0. I don't think that's ever happened. But for us, it's amazing because, I mean, our whole journey's been together, and we've become really good friends. And to see him have some success at this level is just amazing because truly, I mean, when we first got drafted, we were competing for the same spot. And so we've always had that kind of on the field, like we compete together, but off the field, we're just best friends. And so at every level, pretty much, he played short, I played third. And we'd have a blast. We'd play cards nonstop. I mean, you can't find us not playing cards. I mean, it's just the relationship we have. I just remember all the times in Arizona, whether spring training or camps or whatever, we'd be in the locker room, we'd put a stool in between us, and we'd be playing cards. Like, it was just all we did. We love baseball. We love getting our work in. We love getting extra work in, and then we're going to play cards. That was just what we did, and we hang out all the time. And he's not really a video game player, so that's where the cards came into play. So, I mean, for all of us, I mean, I think anyone in that clubhouse, it's just about competing in any way and make it as fun and loving as possible. And that's where last year everyone heard about us playing cards all the time. And that's truly where it comes from. It's the fun, good, but talking mess to each other banter that goes on that's fun, but also just competing in something that's not baseball to take you away from baseball and take you away from the struggles or whatever's going on. And that's where it all comes from. But yeah, me and Davis, co-players of the year, both play for the Rangers, share in the clubhouse, both have homers in the big leagues. I mean, that's there's no other words. Just like, wow.
On ESPN's Sunday Night Baseball, you were mic'd up, and you were asked if you or your brother Jace are better at baseball, and you said, "I'm the better Fortnite player, and that's all that matters." What was that story?
Yeah, that's our connection. That's how we keep our connection throughout the year. If I get a FaceTime call and he's laying in bed, or I FaceTime him laying in bed, that's when it's going to be more about baseball, and we're going to talk baseball. But for the most part, Snapchat each other and be like, hey, on the sticks in 5, let's go. And we just get those games in like that. But that's how we keep our connection. And yeah, when that happened on Sunday Night Baseball, I've been thinking about a way to get that out into the world to see how my brother would respond to it at some point, because he always talks mess that he's my daddy at Fortnite and XYZ. So it was awesome that I was able to put that out there, because he immediately started hitting Twitter up and all kind of stuff, just going bananas like, no, that's not how it is. And I'm like, oh yeah, it is, pal. And everyone knows it now.
And that was the best platform, too. Primetime ESPN game, national broadcast.
That popped up into my mind as soon as I said that. And I was like, oh, this is the perfect opportunity to get this out into the world. So that was awesome.
Fortnite aside, Jace is in the AAA affiliate for the Detroit organization. He's currently leading the Toledo Mudhens in RBIs, runs, and homers. How does that brotherly competitiveness still come through throughout the baseball season?
Just the personal competition we have with each other, truly. Like, all offseason, we're trying to get better, but we're bouncing off each other. Like, if someone does something in the cage, the other one wants to do it twice. I mean, if someone throws the ball 82, the other one's wanting to throw it 83. It's just... It's a good, healthy, competitive energy, and so those first 4 games I hit 2 homers. So I'm talking all the crap about hitting homers before him, and now he obviously surpassed me. So all I can say is, well, I did it way faster than you, because that's all I got right now. But it's the friendly banter. I love it. He loves it. It's his love language. So I kind of have to give it to him, even though I suck at talking crap. But yeah, our relationship's amazing. It's awesome to see him have success. I mean, we talk hitting more than anything, probably. And so I just want him to succeed. I want him to get his opportunities and to go as far as he can in his career. And I'm here for it. I want to help him. So, like, we talk about it all the time. But every day I'm going on the internet, typing in the Mudhens, and they'll say, like, their schedule. And then I'll go find the box score, and I'll keep up with them that way. And if I see he got a couple knocks, I'll, like, go to Twitter, type in his name, see if there's, like, highlight videos of it. So it's all cool. It's a lot of fun.
Now that you have your first full season at the big league level under your belt, what has been the most important lesson you've shared with your younger brother?
That is a great question. Give me a second. I mean, truly, it's about the camaraderie and the friendships you have in the clubhouse above all else, because that's what you can lean on in the times of struggle, is your friends. And that's what I try to teach him as much as possible. Is to create those connections no matter what, because when you have those guys are going to be the ones to help lift you up in the hard times. But also when you're struggling, I truly believe if you invest in other people, it takes your mind off your own performance, and it's just going to help you in the long run, because your mind's not stuck on, oh my gosh, I just swung at this pitch, or that pitch was out of the zone, called a strike, like whatever. It's going to happen. It's part of the game. But if you can invest in other people, it's just able to switch your mindset so fast.
It's a healthy competitive energy now, but how was that when you two were growing up?
We sit down to eat dinner. It's like, who's going to eat their food? Who's going to eat the most food the fastest? Or we're playing video games. Someone is rage quitting because they're getting blown out by the other person. Or we're playing wiffle ball in the front yard, and someone's going to storm in the house screaming because they're losing. Or, like, we never finished a game of anything because it was always about who's winning, and one person was going to dominate the other. So it was just always competitive, always competitive. And then now, or once I went to college, finally got that realization of like, oh man, I miss my brother. And that's where our relationship kind of took off. And It's just evolved into what it is now. I mean, we still compete and everything, but it's a healthy, we're competing to have fun type of thing. And that's where the Fortnite comes in. When we were together in the off season, we played cards every day. I mean, we played Fortnite every day too, but like our routine was like go work out, go to Vitality Bowl, pick up breakfast, go to the clubhouse, play cards for however long, and then we'll get our baseball work in. And then Fortnite the rest of the day.
Fortnite just seems to be a reoccurring theme on this episode. Going to the Rangers clubhouse, who do you game with on the team the most?
Ooh. We got a good group, truly. We got a pretty good group. Evaldi, he's on a bunch. Seager's on a bunch. Josh Smith has been playing a decent amount. We got Wyatt, so he will be playing a decent amount soon. That's pretty much it right now. That's a good little group, though. We'll play, like, creative and go, like, 1v1 or whatever, all for themselves, and it's a bunch of fun. But then usually my brother hops on. We'll play with, like, some of his buddies, Torkelson, Riley Green. Like, Stratton used to play a bunch when he was with us last year. Monty used to play a bunch. We actually played with Monty last week, so that was cool. He just jumped into our lobby one day, and we were like, "Oh, Monty, how you been? Back from the darkness." So that was cool. But yeah, I think that's our group right now. I hope I'm not leaving anybody out.
That's a lot.
That's a good amount.
It's a good chunk
I feel
of the
like
team.
That's a good amount.
Yeah, it really
truly.
is.
But yeah, if we're all on the road and we're all just chilling, we're probably playing, especially Evo and Corey in the mornings. So, like, one of the things down the home stretch of the World Series last year, Evo, every start day, one day we played Fortnite, and I think we got a couple wins that morning, and we go out, and Evo dominates that night. So every time Evo was starting, no matter where we were, what time it was, my phone's ringing. Hey, you and your brother on now. And then we'd play until we got a win, and then that's when we were able to go to the field.
Josh, this Rangers clubhouse loves games from Fortnite to playing cards in the clubhouse, but let's talk about a different kind of cards. You love to collect baseball cards. Yesterday on Instagram, you posted the one-of-one Jungle Cat card with tops. What was the story behind that?
Just trying something. I mean, truly, that's the card market in general. It's like you just want to put stuff out there, and just to see kind of how people respond to it. Because, you know, my doodle card last year was like a step. And now you're starting to see people with more inscriptions and doodling and stuff like that, so that's cool. But I was just trying this one because, I mean, everyone in the clubhouse calls me Cat or Jungle Cat, so I'm not even called by my real name. And so I talked with Fanatics and Tops about just doing something different, and they were on board with it, so we'll see. The responses were like kind of 50-50, so it is what it is. But it's just trying something new, truly, just to see kind of what would happen with it. Because I love cards. I love collecting cards. It's cool to see just different things out in the hobby in general and making connections like that. So I just wanted to see what would happen with the Jungle Cat card. So I practiced that signature so much during spring training.
Roughly how many do you think you own?
To the average person, I probably have a lot. To me, I feel like I don't have a ton. But yeah, I probably have way more than you'd think. Like, I love the hobby, and throughout college, didn't have money to go buy cards all the time. So it'd be very rare I'd go over to the card shop and look for something. I'd mainly just go over there to talk to the guys, truly. But last year I was like, you know what, I'm going to figure out what my kind of niche is in the hobby. Like, what do I really love in collecting? Like, what product do I like? So I've never really done anything except buy wax at, like, Target or something. So that last year was, like, my year of, like, kind of buying everything and trying everything, and kind of found what I really like, what I don't like. And what I really found out was, like, I love opening boxes of cards because you don't know what's in there, so it's like the mystery of what's in there is like, it's amazing. So it sucks when you don't get anything cool, but that's part of the hobby. But then I just really love collecting my own cards, my own autograph cards, especially because all of them have a story, like for myself, right? Like where I signed all these cards. So that's pretty cool too. Be like, I signed that in my apartment. Oop, that was at my house in Lubbock. Or, you know, I signed that one when I first got drafted. Or, you know, just stuff like that. It's really cool. But really love to collect my cards, and then just some other cards on the side were just for fun.
What originally got you into collecting cards? Like, did you ever do it at a young age, or was it strictly just trying to find a hobby last season?
It was my dad. My dad collected cards his whole life, and in my first house, the house I grew up in until I got to high school, my dad's in the game room. He had all of his like old Brooklyn Dodger cards that I just thought was unbelievable, and he'd always tell me stories about how he had a room in his little duplex house in Austin just filled to the ceiling with boxes, and that when they moved and ultimately ended up having me, he had to sell them all. And he always talked about all the amazing cards he had in there that he just had to sell because he just needed some money at the time. And that's what kind of got me into it. And so that's how it started. And then, that was my reward for a good week at school. We had a good week at school, didn't get in trouble, didn't get our color changed or card changed or whatever they called it in elementary school. We'd all be able to go get a box of cards we'd get $20 to go get a box of cards or $2, whatever ended up being $20.
When we come back, Josh answers your burning fan submissions. He answers my signature question, and we play a good game of start, sit, give the boot. Don't go anywhere. Some people find comfort in sitting still, but not you. You were born to explore, to seek out adventure, and to live life to its fullest. Discover the Frontier Collection by Justin today. Featuring out-of-the-box comfort in 12 stylish designs, the Frontier Collection is built for those who go the extra mile and get the most out of life. From the saddle to the streets and everything in between, the Frontier Collection by Justin is right there with you. For just $199, you can find your Frontier today at justinboots.com. All right, Josh, now it's time to play a start, sit, give the boot. I'm going to give you 3 things, and you have to rank them, where start is your favorite, sit is something you like or you're indifferent about, or give the boot to something that is your least favorite. All right, starting off hot, and I think this one's going to be really tricky for you. Let's do start, sit, give the boot for Superman #1 comic books. I think there's 2 left in the world. A Chris Evans autographed Captain America poster, and a 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle baseball card. Hard-hitting stuff right here.
I am starting the Mickey Mantle baseball card. That is the PSA holy grail when it comes to baseball cards. So yes, that one, #1. Chris Evans signed poster is definitely going to take a seat on the bench. And Superman, give him the boot. I like DC. I like watching stuff. But Marvel is definitely superior in my mind. So Chris Evans can take a seat on the bench.
You're a country music fan, so let's go with Morgan Wallen, Chris Stapleton, and Luke Combs.
That's a hard one.
I'm really putting my journalistic approach here to use.
I'm starting Luke Combs. Went to his concert last year. That was just unbelievable. I would go to his concert every weekend if possible. I'm going to put Morgan Wallen on the bench because I want to go to his concert. And then Chris Stapleton, I'm sorry, but I have to give you the boot, unfortunately, in this instance. Nothing against you. But Luke Combs is one of my all-time favorites, and Morgan Wallen has way too many songs on my playlists. So those 2 have to go in the top 2.
All right, Josh, now it's time for my signature question. Are you ready? Don't look at my cards. I see you're trying to figure out what it is. Okay, so let's say the team's playing Seattle, and you miss the flight, and you have to road trip 2,000 miles in a car with either a Rangers teammate or a coach. Who are you going with?
Ooh. I'm probably going to go with a coach, Corey Ragsdale, our first base coach / infield coach. We have great conversations, from conspiracy theories to baseball cards to Marvel comics to his love of crypto. It's an endless amount of conversations that we have. So I feel like however long that trip was, would fly by because we would talk the whole time. It'd be awesome. And we love the same music. That'd be awesome.
Let's say you had to pick a Rangers teammate to go on the road trip with you and Rags. Who would you pick?
Ooh.
So you, Rags, and fill in the blank.
Seager. That would be so much fun. Oh, we'd have a blast. That'd actually be fun. Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
Why Corey?
Because us 3 we get along so well. And the banter that would go on there would just be awesome the whole way there. Because with us, it's like no one's feelings ever get hurt. So you can say whatever you want. And it's like, check your feelings at the door, bro. Like, it's just for fun. We don't actually mean what we're saying. So that would actually just be a bunch of fun. I would love it.
All right, Josh, let's dive into some fan questions.
Uh-oh.
Number one, you knew this one was coming. What was your favorite rookie card you've ever collected?
My favorite rookie card I've ever collected. Ooh. Right now I'm going after the Transcendent Collection Rookie Through the Years cards, and I think they're all pretty sweet, so I'll say those.
Number two, and this can't be Texas Tech, so who in the Big 12 has the best field?
Ooh, where did I rake? Oklahoma State.
Stillwater.
Ball flies. Felt like I always hit good there. So I'm going to go there.
How did your home run celebration with Adolis Garcia come to be? I think there's like
That's
some
a
shoulder
great
shrugs in
question.
there, a couple little dance moves.
Oh, man. It started out of just kind of like a handshake. And the handshake kind of evolved from like just like the elbow to then like putting on the like a, I don't even know. I don't know if it's a backpack or whatever. Just like put the team on your back, I guess. I don't know. We don't really say that, but that's just where it kind of came from. And we didn't do it on the field ever until he hit one homer. And he was like, God, and then did it. And I was like, all right, that's the new thing. That's cool. I like it. I would love to look at what my batting average is after that because it cannot be high. Rushing into the box, but I love it. It's awesome. And his favorite saying is like, that's a homer, dog. So we'll both say that too. It's all a thing. It's all cool.
Finally, I know you're going to love this question. Who would win in a home run derby, obviously when you're healthy, you or Jace?
Me. We've done it a million times. I always win. Bigger brother always wins. I can't tell you the last one we had. We used to have them all the time, though, in high school. And unfortunately, he would beat me in high school. He would just launch in high school, and I was more like line drives, gap to gap. So I'd give him a run for his money, but he'd always end up winning. Got into college, we would do them every once in a while. In the fall, when my parents and him would come up for like inter-squad games or whatever, we'd do it and have a good time. But once I got into pro ball and he was in college, anytime that all of us were in Lubbock, my dad always throws to us, and we'd legit have a home run derby. And that'd be so much fun. But I mean, all the BP we take now, we always count homers. So I always come out on top.
Well, hey, now you can tell Jace that he peaked in high school.
I mean, I don't know. He's beating me in homers right now, unfortunately. He hit more homers than me last year. He hit 29. I think he hit 29. I hit 23, but I did hit 3 homers in the playoffs. And so I'm winning 3-0 in that regard.
Those have some extra weight to them.
Exactly.
Agreed.
They count for at least 3 each.
I love that. Well, Josh, thank you again so much for your time. Best of luck throughout your rehab journey. I know Rangers Nation is thrilled to see you back on the field in a few weeks.
Yep. Thank you for having me.
Well, that's going to do it. Once again, I'm Hannah Wing. We'll be back with episode 3 on May 16th of Rangers Deep in the Heart presented by Justin. We'll see you next time.